Hey, we're here with B.o.B. Thanks so much for taking the time, man. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Your mainstream debut was a monster. Don't Let Me Fall, Airplanes, Nothing on You, Magic. So many singles, so much well-deserved hype. What was the craziest part of that ride?
For me, like when it really felt like I was dreaming while I was awake, was probably when Airplanes came out on iTunes. And I don't know, man, it was just something about, it went to number one, and, it wasn't the only song that did that, but just I was on tour with Lupe Fiasco at the time, and, it just felt crazy, man. The song really just exploded, from that point. And, just to have my music, and Don't Let Me Fall came out around the same time on iTunes. Yeah. And, it was just like a moment where, when you come from doing mixtapes to, for free,
yeah,
and touring and making just enough to pay for the hotels and the van that you're traveling in. And by the way, man, a 15-passenger van is like, we would drive from like Arizona to Texas from Georgia to, we drove everywhere in this van, and like, it's just, there's no comfortable way to sit in it, man. Like we tried,
yeah.
We tried cities. It's not comfortable. And just going from that point to being on tour and having the album coming out and having a successful record, that was the moment where it really kind of just, exploded for me and became, something surreal.
Do you remember hearing Don't Let Me Fall on the radio or Airplanes on the radio? Was that crazy?
It was. And I don't know what it is, but I think they put like some type of magic dust on the songs before they play it on the radio. It just sounds ever so enticing.
Yeah. They say that you have your whole life to make your first record. And, you spent 2 years in the studio after all those mixtapes making The Adventures of Bobby Ray. But you didn't have that much time to make the second record. It was probably hurry up, let's get her done.
And you know what? You're right. And I actually spent about 2 years. Really, it was a year, but it was a 2-year gap from when I released The Adventures of Bobby Ray to Strange Clouds. But what I would say to that is, you're right. You do have your whole life to make your first album, but I have my whole life leading up to this moment to make this album. So it's like, everything that I went through that created that music, I still have, it's a part of me, you know what I mean? It's like, it's my roots. And to be able to continue to grow and tour and see more, that kind of, everything that I saw from The Adventures of Bobby Ray inspired what I'm saying on this album and how I feel on this album. So it's a continuous journey. The work will never be finished.
It helps, though, that you have a pretty big crew and that people are contributing, whether it's producers or friends helping out with lyrics and stuff.
Absolutely.
That all helps, too, right?
Absolutely.
This record, though, is a little more eclectic than The Adventures of Bobby Ray in that you play guitar on this record, you play piano on this record. The Taylor Swift song is nothing like anything else on the record. It's I was thinking about it. It kind of is more like a soundtrack, more like a compilation, more like those early day mixtapes than Adventures of Bobby Ray in many ways.
Yeah, and you know what? It's crazy because when I went into this project, I really wasn't trying to get any features. I was really just wanting to do as much by myself as I could, but. I ran into Chris Martin in the studio and had a brief conversation with him, and what he told me kind of helped me not only to have an open mind about features and collaborations, but just in general, just to allow myself to do whatever it is I felt like doing, whether it was making a song with somebody or not, or producing it myself or not, or if I wanted to just hum on a track, for 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
So Good, I think, sums up the ride, right? Does it sum up the ride up to this
So
point?
Good is it's like a pamphlet for a potential girl. It's like a brochure. You could go here.
But it is about your life and a girl joining you on that lifestyle, no?
Yeah, and everything, everything I'm talking about on that record came from experience, except Egypt. I've never been to Egypt.
But you're going to go eventually.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Egypt. But everything was just, regurgitated artistic creation.
Yeah. How'd you hook up with Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift came to Atlanta, and she wanted to bring me out on her show, but I wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
And she looked at my calendar, actually, and was like, you're going to be near Dallas, so how about I bring you out to Dallas? And I'm like, bet, let's do that. So we came out, and I came out, and before the show, I played her the record, and you don't really know, you kind of prepare for the best.
Yeah.
You expect the best, prepare for the worst. And I didn't know if she was gonna really be that into it, but when she heard it, I mean, she loved it hands down. And for me, one of the best parts about this record is how it came about. It was a real artist to artist collaboration.
Great.
It wasn't like a corporate placement.
Nicki Minaj is also on the record, and Out of My Mind is so perfect for her because she really is.
Nicki Minaj. Yeah, no, there was nobody I could have got to do that's Nicki Minaj, that's her. You can't just be like if it wasn't her, nobody would probably be on the record. It would probably just be me. But I think it was perfect for her because I think we have a chemistry. We have a really good chemistry, and just with the personality that we bring to the table. I think it's a.
Well, you're both so crazy, right?
Straight jackets.
Yeah, straight
Our
jackets.
straight jackets have straight jackets.
Yeah. I love Arena because it's pretty funny, actually. It's pretty hilarious that it's an ode to what's going on right now. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it is what you're living.
And I think that's the main thing. Wow, I wish you guys could see this dust storm happening right now.
Whoa.
I thought I was in Saudi Arabia. All right, let me re-answer that. I was like, God, tumbleweeds gonna start flying by. What was I saying?
Arena.
So Arena is actually a riff I wrote on the piano, and as with most ideas, they always begin outside of the studio, and then they kind of just grow with you, and if they stand the test of time, then that means you have something good. And I gave that idea to Dr. Luke, and he flipped it, and we ended up getting Chris Brown on it, and Tip got on it, and there we have an Arena record. It's stadium music.
Stadium music, and that's the thing too about this record is there's a lot of hip hop swagger, but there's also a lot of this self-reflecting and not being sure if you're in the right place. So Hard to Breathe is just that, I think, about all the swagger, and then swag. Thinking about is this real
swag? It's alternative hip hop rock swag,
rock swag.
Combined. And like that. Actually, I wrote that song before. Well, it wasn't completed. I wrote that song before The Adventures of Bobby Ray, but it wasn't completed, and not until I ran into Sean Garrett, and he kind of breathed new life into the record for me and helped me complete it. And then it became something else. Then I was like, wow, this song is really, when you sit on a song for so long, sometimes you forget the potential of what you have. But, it really grew into something, a staple on the album, really.
Are you still having fun?
I work hard and I play harder.
Yeah. Well, man, thanks for another solid record.
Absolutely, man. I have many more albums coming.
Yeah, how many more? Like a dozen at least.
As many as I can, as many as I can materialize.
Cool. And so you're touring this record now, and are you dropping in on other people's stuff too? Because you always do.
I am. I actually have a lot of collaborations coming out. I have a song I did with Ed Sheeran, and lots of new music, lots of collaborations, cool. and I'm going on a 2-year tour.
Wow,
2-year tour. I'll see you soon.
Bro. Thank you.
All right.